Hey, wouldn't it be nice to design your own Easter decorations in CAD without any hassle? Let's get to it! Hello and welcome to the Taboretum channel. Today we will learn how to design stuff like this one in FreeCAD. It will be a very basic tutorial doing things step by step. You'll learn how the interface works, how to design the basic egg shape and how to make it look fancy like this little thing here.
So you can see here the main screen of FreeCAD 1.0, and here on the list a number of workbenches, so kind of a different views that you will use for different tasks. And today we will basically use part workbench, and from time to time we'll switch to draft workbench. But let's start with the part one, and we need to design an egg. We will use the moss egg. So as you can see right here, that's the basic design principle for the egg shape. You have an arc here, and a third arc over here, and we need just a half of this egg because we will be making a revolve solid of revolution. So we start with some help lines. Let's get into it. And at the end we will cut the bottom of the egg because we want it to be stable when we put it as a decoration on a table. Let's start with a sketch. Sketch is a two-dimensional piece of paper that we use to create something, and we'll do it in the XZ plane. So I press the sketch button, then I select the XZ and press OK. And we end up in a sketch plane. We can turn on some grid to make it easier for us, and we will start with basic circle. And here is a magic button that actually toggles between the construction geometry and the help geometry. So we will, these bluish lines means that it's not a real geometry, it's just a help lines. So we will start, as you remember here, we will start with this triangle, isosceles triangle as the base. So let's draw a triangle. And as you can see, if I click here, you see this small red dot. It means that it will connect these 2 points. It automatically marked this line as horizontal. I can move it around, as you can see. It automatically connected this dot with the axis. And what we want to do, we want to say that these two are equal, and we can do it by simply selecting both and pressing this button here, or pressing E like equal. I'll press E on my keyboard. So now the only movement is here, and we also remember that this angle was 90 degrees. So we select these two arms and press D for dimension. Here is a button somewhere over here, dimension, and if we select these two lines and press D, it will automatically guess that we want to set the angle. So we set the angle to 45 degrees, and it says that it is to 90 degrees, that we have a redundant constraint because we actually said that they need to be equal. So we'll just get rid of this constraint, and we will say that this angle needs to be 90 degrees. So we have our I pressed escape to get out of it, and now we can just move around, change the size, but basics are here. We need to add another point. I will put it on the line, and now I select the point and the axis and press the C for connect, or if you want to press it, here is the button for it, constraint coincident, we press C and the point ends up on the axis. Now we switch to the actual we will need one more line, so maybe I can just draw it right now. We will draw a line here, and we will say that these two are actually parallel, so that basically this is a single line. So now we switch to the actual lines, and first we will draw our bottom circle. So we start with something, wait, it's a circle and we want an arc, sorry, Control C, or an arc. Our arc starting here, put on the axis and connect it to this point. Right, so you can see now that if we move it around, it is sticking here and sticking here. So now another arc, this time starting here, and we take it from this point to this arc. Yeah, and now we miss just one more arc from this point, from here to the axis. Already looks like half of an egg, right? Now we draw the final line from here to here, and now we can only make it bigger or smaller and move it around. I'm not sure what's the actual diameter of an egg, but I would say like 5 centimeters, something like that. So let's select this arc and constrain it with with the radius, and we say these are going to be 25 millimeters, and I will check in the meantime what is the actual size of an egg, and we can move the whole thing down. Now we can press, and it says that we still have some freedom to move things around, but actually the only way and is up and down and this point here. So we can actually connect these 2 points by selecting them and pressing C. Constraint 17 is redundant. Yeah, we can now delete this constraint, and now we only have one dimension of freedom. We can move it around. So let's close it, and now the magic will happen. We'll press the revolve button over here. So we say revolve, and as a reference we want to use the Z axis, and it is automatically selected here, direction Z. So we just press OK, and magic happens. This is an egg. Nice, huh? And now, not to forget about it, we will cut it at the bottom, because if we print something like that, it will be nice, but we cannot stand it on table, and it won't be that easy to print. So we go back to the model, we double click the sketch, and what actually we will do, we will get rid of this line for a second, and also get rid of this line for a second, and during doing that I also deleted our constraint, but we'll get to it. We can move this constraint up here, and again we will do an arc starting here, tangent to this point and not getting to the axis, and we will now select it and say press D for dimension. I'll keep it 25 mils, and now we will add a horizontal line here and a vertical line right here. And again, the only way to move it. Okay, now we can define the how big is this bottom part, and let's say it is 7.5 millimeter, so it will 1.5 centimeter in total. And now the only movable part is up and down, and we can say connect these 2 points pressing C, and we have some redundant constraint, that is this this one here, so we can select it and delete it, And we have a fully constrained sketch. It is now green, nothing is moving, and we are sure that we got everything right. We close, and now we have an egg that has a flat bottom, and I think it's too small for printing, so let's make it actually what now you can see how parametric thing is useful. We can make it 15, it's too much, so let's make it 10. Okay, and yeah, it should print now nicely, and it still looks like an egg. So that's the basic tutorial how to get an egg done. We just created a sketch, and then we revolved it, and that's basically it. No magic, not too much magic happening here. And now let's make it interesting. So I want to make it more light. So I will create a sketch at the very bottom here, and you can do it in a different ways. If you don't select anything and press the sketch button, it will ask you where to create a sketch. If you have your model selected and you press the sketch button, it will try to connect it with your model. So if you say the objects XY, it will be the plane of this bottom part, but I'm not sure at what depth we will end up. So we can always actually turn it. It is the very bottom, so that's okay. And we can press this button over here, view section, and it will basically show us the section at this sketch. So thanks to that, the whole egg is not in our view. So we have an empty sketch, and we see this bottom part. If we want to see the whole egg, we can press this button. And actually what I will do, I will just do super simple thing. I will create an arc starting at this very middle point and getting out. And that's it. Let me see if it is getting out of the egg. It is. And let's just bear with me for a second. So we have an arc. Now I will extrude this arc as a surface. So we select the sketch, this arc, and we have a button here that says extrude. So let's just extrude, and our egg is almost for sure less than 60 millimeters. So let's make it 60, press OK and see. Okay, 60 is not enough. So this is a huge egg. So we can always go to the extrude, and here we have these extrude parameters in the data part, and we can say, yeah, it is, let's make it 70. So it is big enough. So we have our fin, let's call it. But it is it doesn't have any thickness, right? It's a line. So here is a magic button called offset, and we will create an offset, right? It says 1 millimeter, and we can check this box to fill the offset. So now you can see that it has some thickness. And I will be printing this fin on my printer with a 0.6 millimeter nozzle. So honestly, I would prefer to make it 1.2 millimeter, because then it will be just 2 lines on my printer. So let's stick with 1.2. So now we will take our fin. We'll go this only one time to the draft workbench, and we will select this button here, which is array. And we'll make it a polar array, and we will say, let's make it 19 elements, and we will use fuse, so it's one object, and we will not make it a link array, because we need really to be fused. So now we should have our copies, nice, and we get back to the part workbench, and we have now 2 objects, our egg and our fins, repeated 19 times, and we'll select the 2, press the intersection button over here and the magic should happen. Let's see if it works. We press it and ta-da! We end up with the egg. We need to turn off this extrude view. This is what we wanted to achieve. A nice, good looking decorative Easter egg that you can print out. It will print nicely and easily and put it on your table. We are now in PrusaSlicer. You can see our beautiful sexy egg. We can slice it now. Actually, I already sliced it, so you can see how it looks like. We have some minimal infill that honestly is not super needed, but when we will be closing the top, yeah, we can basically get rid of it. It will not make any difference because it can close the gap of this diameter. Yeah, and it's not a super quick print, but I want it to really look nice. So let's print it and see how it will show up.
Thanks for getting that far. I know CAD is not that easy, but I hope that with my tutorials you will learn it in no time. So thanks for watching. Please, if you liked it, please consider subscribing, pressing the like button, maybe buying me a coffee. There's a link down there. And I'm looking forward to see your design and your prints. Thanks again. Happy printing. Bye-bye.